Nib95 is still doubling down on his claims that this so-called quality thing with video games is something that justifies exclusivity and benefits the consumer. It's a flat-out lie. Simply because every game is different, the circumstances within which each game is made is different. The teams have different levels of challenge. In some cases, skill. In some cases, insurmountable tasks that they could have been, that could have been dropped upon them. So in this his argument here, he's basically, pretty much addressing Nintendo Prime. And I'm just here to assess all what's going on because back and forth, these two fan bases are really unveiling a few things that I think are interesting. So he says something along the lines of, and there you go, the truth comes out. Yet another fanboy zealot. Weird. He calls Nintendo Prime a fanboy zealot. Interesting stuff. No, actually, he calls this person, Gara of the Rage, a fanboy zealot who has poor taste and cannot stand that gaming has matured and left you and your limited taste behind, where quality stories, writing, and characterization now improve alongside competent gameplay. Gara of the Rage does not just go ahead and take that sitting and says, here's the dude who promotes the idea of exclusives away from others. And he replies, as anyone who values higher chances of quality over accessibility would, which is a very silly argument. And I'm going to go ahead right now and basically, eliminate this thing once and for all. Nib made two videos a while back. They were very interesting videos. I tried my best to go ahead and watch them, but I can't, tell you enough how those videos never really showed anything that could even lend credence to exclusives benefiting the customer. Everything lend credence to exclusives benefiting the publisher, and in some cases, maybe even slightly benefiting the developer, because when it's all said and done, these exclusives, when they don't sell, devs get canned. And he's talking about and insulting people, saying exercise a modicum of common sense. If they lacked quality, having to be developed for only 1 to 2 platforms, how would they have fared if having simultaneously be developed and released on 5? So he's saying this in regard to Redfall and Forspoken. But let me show you guys a game that was developed for 1 platform that had bugs when it came out and was covered by the media and then uncovered by the media, and then the game was basically celebrated as if nothing happened. This is an article written on October 23rd, 2023, actually published by Ryan Perrono of Game Ranks. I had to go back to the Wayback Machine to actually pull this article. It says, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is the buggiest 2023 game with Metacritic's universal acclaim. In this particular, article, Ryan Perrono, and it's been deleted, by the way, if you actually want to go ahead and find it, you got to go to Game Ranks and find their October 23rd, 2023 tweet where they link the article, but when you click it, it says page not found. So you literally have to go back and find this article. And it says a few days after release, it emerged that Marvel Spider-Man 2 had some serious bugs and issues. The official Reddit for the game's bugs lists these as major issues. If you click that Reddit page, even when we go through and jump into that, it shows you that Spider-Man 2 has some serious bugs. And you can pretty much go ahead and look at that subreddit page and it lists everything. Gamers who bought a disc cannot finish installation. Allegedly, 36% of players may have a defective disc. Subsequently, gamers cannot install the game to their SSD. In these cases, it's advised to store the game on PlayStation 5's memory. Some gamers cannot change performance and fidelity modes. These issues may resolve after a first mission. Finally, there are cases of the game crashing and overheating, which may be because the console needs cleaning. That console needs cleaning thing is kind of weird because on the PC version, the game still had challenges even after over a year of maybe, in quote, working on a PC port. When all of this was all said and done, it kind of got me to basically make my video where I tagged it the Xbox tax, where Xbox could do something so tiny and everybody jumps on them like Redfall, but PlayStation, when they do something like that, it gets literally memory hold. You can see it for yourself. And so everybody is pretty much on his case and talking about this. And I have to say, Nib95, you really do not have a case in this particular matter. You need to drop it. The evidence is insurmountable. The situations and the circumstances continue to weigh against everything that you decide to build here, because at the end of the day, exclusives do not benefit consumers. In fact, it burdens the consumers. It wants the consumer to go ahead and buy themselves a new device or enter into a new ecosystem in order to be able to play a game that would probably in the first place benefit you, the publisher, anyways, if you made it available for them, because many of them have capable machines that you can actually get your game on. Now, if it's your first party game, no problem. I mean, do what you want with it, but also be willing to bear the consequences when it comes down to it. And I'm very, very shocked that he still continues to go ahead and tout the same set of talking points that make no sense. Like when you listen to the video, like he even reposted the darn thing March 19th after having posted the thing previously, and people are just like still looking and saying, dude, these particular exclusives that you continue to talk about and such, the funny thing about this is you got to realize that there are many other games that came out multi-platform that have better quality than these exclusives. They were made by development teams and even with lower budgets that still outclass these so-called quality exclusives that you're talking about. And then there are games which had the exclusivity tagged to them and didn't have that level of quality. Think about Final Fantasy 16. When the game came out, Digital Foundry did their performance analysis, and this game was running at 720 to be able to achieve 60 FPS. It was kind of a dynamic upscaling paradigm depending on when you're in or out of combat. People's PlayStation 5s reportedly were heating up. All kinds of really interesting things that don't spell quality when you actually think about it, right? And so when you say that quality it can be found in them making the game for one particular platform and reducing accessibility is a valid cost when quality is actually at stake, it's nonsense, because a quality game is something that's quite subjective at the end of the day. However, we can still look at the Marvel Spider-Man 2 game and say, yo, there are games that are much more of better quality than the game in terms of functionality, in terms of cleanness, where the code base is working. The game did not give their users any problems or any challenges, and they were able to enjoy the game without any issues. And so now that one article is written to show that, hey, man, this is probably an issue at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And they go ahead and they delete the article. I mean, think about it, right? Think about it. This is so weird. This person said, good to see Spider-Man is receiving the same scrutiny as Starfield. Both are great games, despite their bugs, though. This person said how to be a useless gaming news site, right? This person said there are bugs in the game. Is that the spiders, the bees? I mean, when you think about it, right? When you think about it, a lot of people were saying, oh, they didn't run into any of these bugs. But then there were people who were posting about the bugs and saying, well, I've seen some on my platform, The buggiest game with that level of acclaim, at first I was like, buggy, I didn't know about the buggiest and all that stuff. But again, what quality is Nib95 talking about here? What quality? There is none that you can cite, nor can you even hold a candle up to when it comes to other games that have basically traversed the platforms across the board. And so I think it's very weird that he continues to double down on it. But again, I think at the end of the day, though, it's going to really show it's going to show that, this is actually weird when it comes down to it. And somebody replied and asked him a very interesting question. See how this actually works. They said, Nib, what do you mean by exclusives? And he says, only available on one ecosystem or in that ecosystem and PC. Is he trying to redefine exclusivity? Because if he is, I think I'm going to make another video basically saying that, that's not what an exclusive is. So thanks for watching the video. Talk to me in the comment section. Appreciate your time and audience. Peace out.